Discover the best in local business news with a subscription to the IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. For a limited time, try us out for just $1 a week for 8 weeks. Claim this limited time offer now at ibj.com/trial offer.
Kristen, Dane. This episode of the Pete the Planner Show is brought to you by myindiana529.com. So go there today, myindiana529.com. I'm going to start the show with a story, but to understand the story, you must first see some imagery. This is tough for the podcast listener, but not if you're a podcast viewer or a stream viewer. Ladies and gentlemen, me with hair. Okay, so yesterday I experienced my worst nightmare, besides my family not being safe, but pretty close. And during that nightmare, I had so much free time that I was photoshopping hairstyles onto me. And this is the best that AI could come up with. I look like a questionable youth pastor. I look like the host of a failed MSNBC show. Damian Dunn and Kristen Elanius join me now. When you all saw that image originally, it's a bit jarring.
Quite.
It somehow looked just like you and nothing like you all at the same time.
That's really good, yes.
Yeah, it's weird. My wife was like, I think she liked it a lot, but then also hated it, which is arguably how she feels about me. So Dame, short of family and friends being hurt or unsafe, what is your worst nightmare? Kristen, I'm going to ask you the same thing. I give you a little bit more time. Actually, I should give Dame a little bit more time. Kristen, what is your worst nightmare?
I have so many worst nightmares, but probably my car being broken down and other people being dependent on me. Like I'm at a traffic light, my car breaks down and everybody's honking their horn. I might just cease to exist in that moment.
And Dame, what is your worst nightmare?
Being without power or running water for an extended period of time, like weeks.
Such a prepper. It's
so on brand.
It's so on brand. It's unbelievable. And Dame, you and I have known each other for a tremendously long time. Can you please share what my worst nightmare is?
Being late.
So, funny thing happened yesterday. I have to drive to Columbus, Ohio to do a speaking gig. Speaking gig started at, was set to start at 3:45, somewhere in that range. And because I'm a responsible human with offspring and a mortgage, I gave myself an additional 3-hour buffer. So I gave myself approximately 6.5 hours to get to Columbus, Ohio. 30 minutes into my journey, I see red lights ahead. No, it wasn't Santa Claus. It was the brake lights of a Jeep Renegade directly in front of me. I stopped. It seemed bad. How bad was it? 4 hours and 12 minutes parked on I-70, just west of the Greenfield exit. I did not get out of the traffic jam until it was way too late for my speaking gig. So I missed my first speaking gig ever, a drive day trip. I was going to do it live streamed in the car. But Dame, I was stranded because there was a lithium battery fire in a trailer, and that was the issue. That was my life yesterday, and it was awful.
I will ask the question that everybody is dying to ask.
Sure.
How in the world did your bladder make it that long?
This is a good question, Dame. This is a very good question. How did this man, this well-coiffed man, control that? And let's also help you understand, that morning I did lift. I did go to the gym. I did consume about 375 milligrams of caffeine in the form of pre-workout.
At once?
Yeah. Then a protein shake, and then about 16 ounces of water. Um, do we still stream to LinkedIn? How's this work?
Yeah.
You tell me.
Gosh, I hadn't thought this part through. Liberties were taken. Things and I don't know if you've ever seen. Let's move on. Damon, in pre-show, I said you could ask me that, and I'd be willing to answer. But now that I had to answer, twice there was a situation. Twice. I'll say this: many of the men in the traffic jam were in the similar situation, and of course, all of the women were in the same situation. They just had less chance of relief. It was terrible. I felt bad. My car was surrounded by, oh, what's that, Mark? You will want to toss that water bottle away. So what occurred to me is most of the cars around me were like elderly folks, which was like, it was really sad. Like, it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for them. With gas prices like they are.
Well, it wasn't hot. You could have sat there with the windows down and been nice and cool.
It was perfect weather. It was overcast and like cool. It was
great.
Bad.
Stranded on the road in the middle of the day weather.
You should. Yeah, you could have just like tanned or something.
There was this one guy that just came up and wanted to get everyone riled up because we looked like an apocalyptic sort of everyone walking away from Atlanta because of the zombie apocalypse sort of film. And there's this one guy that was like, How selfish of them, like at the time we didn't know what was going on up there.
Someone could have been hurt.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. My corpse is in the way. That wasn't the case because it was just a fire and everyone.
People are so rude.
You're like, how inconsiderate. I'm like, I think you're fine.
Think of people other than yourself.
I know. Anyway, watch a couple episodes of Scandal. All right. Great show this week. And I will also say this is the first show with the appearance, not an appearance, just in spirit, of our brand new intern, Lily. She's not going to appear on the show today. We felt that 45 minutes into her internship was not a good time to expose her to all of this. But she's watching in a different room.
Got a really important question.
Yes.
Have you thought of a nickname for Lily yet?
I'm trying to tread lightly there because here's the thing. One, it's a great name. I mean, you just like, it's a good name. I will say this, it's her first name. And I don't believe there's any relation to Eli Lilly and Company. I don't believe so, but I have not verified that.
Maybe Eli's her nickname.
I don't think we'll do that. Kristen, I don't think I should give young folks nicknames, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said young folks. Okay. Talking housing on the show today. Dame is currently TikTok's least favorite personal finance personality.
That's because you guys posted on TikTok.
No.
Oh,
You
wait,
guys.
I'm sorry. You're right. I take that back. Rewind. That's because Pete posted on TikTok.
I told you my kids were really upset, didn't I?
That you're on TikTok?
Yes. They were like, cringe. I'm like, don't care. Hello, all of our fun listeners. Rev, good day. Tom, hello. We got here Tom again, a double Tom, everybody. Hello, J.O. Jason, I saw Andy on there. Chris, and so many others. Okay, Quincy, hello. You guys want to start the show? I'm trying to keep it an hour self-contained because I got to teach Lily how to edit it, how to make clips, how to send the podcast to the gods. I don't know.
You don't. Never mind.
No, please.
Well, I would imagine that Lily probably knows some of those things already, huh?
She may or may not. I don't want to assume. You know what happens when you assume? Hello, Jenny. Let's start the show. We have a topic, I understand. Here it is. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here is how the show works. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And that email inbox collects a few things. Number 1, PR pitches. Stop. Number 2, Kristen, people will sign me up for email newsletters for their companies just to send me their stuff, which I don't love. And then number 3 is actually got your personal finance questions. Dame, hello.
Hello.
Kristen, hello.
Hello.
Kristen and Dame are the real experts here, and I am the face. All right, so here's how the show works this week. We were talking about a topic that we touched on a few weeks ago, and it sent the internet ablaze. Dame, what was the assertion that lacked enough detail that got people heated? What was it? What was it?
Which one? I mean, there's any number of them, but I think this particular one was you have to have your house paid off before you enter retirement.
Okay. So here's what ended up happening. People got heated. They got spicy. And Kristen, they put a lot of assumptions into their responses when they said that. I think Dame and I were the faces of this thing.
For sure.
You must pay off your house before you retire. And everyone's like, you shouldn't withdraw money out of your 401k to pay off your house. I mean, no one said that.
No one said that.
Yeah. You shouldn't rob a casino to pay off your house.
Also true.
Shouldn't sell your cat. It's like there's just like so many wild assumptions. And so this entire show today is explaining to the T why paying off your house prior to retirement is the best advice humanly possible for a significantly large majority of American people. Dame, how is that?
Well hedged.
Is it well hedged? But you're gonna capture aliens and sell them on eBay? And it's like, no, calm down, TikTok. Just like take a beat. Kristen, I can't imagine how someone's gonna take umbrage with what we're gonna talk about today, but I know it's gonna happen.
Oh, it for sure is going to happen. Are there any other qualifiers for real that should be on that? Paying off your house before retirement for most people is the thing that they need to do, is really in summary what we're saying.
I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to do the math. I'm going to say about 84% of people, this is absolutely the best thing. And then probably for another 7%, probably a good thing. And the rest, it's like, it doesn't matter.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Dame, let's go to something that we call here at Your Moneyline the ideal household budget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start there. And the percentage that you're about to give people is simply a placeholder that represents a large opportunity to change your cash flow. But like, get us to the point that this is contextual.
When we create the ideal household budget, there's a number of assumptions that go into it. First, the word ideal is present. So, you've got to take this with a bit of a grain of salt because everybody's got their own little things that are going to be included for one reason or another. But when we're thinking about where your dollars should go on a month-to-month basis, in order to accomplish a good, reasonable, stable financial life, somewhere around 25% of your dollars should be dedicated for housing.
And Kristen, people love to argue that, and that's fine. And I've stopped having that argument. What I'll say is, okay, then it's 30. It's 35. I don't care. It is something. Now, if you get to 40 or above, you're the one with issues, not my things. How do you think about it?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I feel like this area in particular, people want guardrails. This is just my perception as a practitioner. If someone wants a guardrail and I'm like, okay, 25% of your take home pay. And they're like, well, that's impossible. I'm like, well, you asked. Like, it's what I would recommend. And if that's not what you want to do, the money has to come from somewhere else. The budget has to add up to 100%.
Let's roll around in this for a second here. Okay. So Kristen, I'm going to give you 4 categories.
Ooh.
Okay, just 4. And I want you to come back with that retort that you just shared on all 4 of them, okay? The exact one. Kristen, 25% towards housing.
I can't afford that.
Okay. 15% towards transportation.
That's unrealistic.
12% towards food.
No one could spend that little.
5% on entertainment.
In this economy?
Okay. Here's the reality. Great. I don't care. Move the percentages around to whatever you want. Anybody, whatever you want. But they must all add up to 100%. And this is where I could go through the other, 9 categories, Dame. And you could say that about every single one. But it doesn't matter, because at some point in time, you've got to stop blaming the economy and what is reasonable, not reasonable, and just make it equal 100%. And I think that is what is falling apart on TikTok right now.
Yeah, you have to make decisions, and we are limited by the income that we've got. I mean, could you live on 110% of your income? Well, potentially for a little while before everything falls apart and your long-term financial stability deteriorates before your eyes. But we've only got what we've got, and we can't make the stuff just appear out of nowhere. So you're going to be forced to make some decisions, some of them very uncomfortable, but that's just reality right now. And you can complain about the situation we're in, or maybe things should be a little bit different, but that doesn't change the reality you're facing right now.
Kristen, this also makes me think about the conversation we had a few weeks ago about which generation had it harder. Mm-hmm. Like, we gave opinions. Other people's opinions are just as valid as our opinions of, did the boomers have it harder? Did Gen Z or millennials or Gen X? It actually doesn't matter, because just waving the flag of we have it the hardest solves nothing. It's contextual, but it should be informative to the point of, oh, I've got extra considerations I'm going to deal with. And I think the housing situation is the perfect representation of this conversation. Is housing relatively unaffordable? Absolutely. But Kristen, I think that's why a person needs a really good plan.
100%. You still have to have housing. Like, you don't just get to remove yourself from that decision-making point and ignoring your budget. It harms future you. Yes, to Damien's point, you can get by with that. You can get by living on credit, but future you deserves that stability. You need to make good financial decisions today, especially in terms of housing.
Yeah, Dame, I think where I'm getting caught up with just like this, yeah, but it's unfair, or that's all the more reason why your decision around it matters. The pain shouldn't be in the mental aspects of not being afford housing. It should actually be in the math of still trying to make your financial life work. And I think people get caught up in the badge of horror that is, we have it worse.
Yeah, I think discussions like this actually go a long way to illustrate the importance of thinking about margin when you're making these really big purchases and commitments, because there's a lot of things that we can't control in our financial lives. And we have to try and figure out what we're going to do to mitigate that, whether it's to have a very robust emergency fund or whether it's going to have lots of margin in our cash flow, to be able to figure out how to make sure that when rough times come, and they will inevitably for all of us, how we're going to weather that storm.
So, Kristen, the rest of the show is, I don't care how old you are. I don't care how much money you make. I'm going to show you a way. You are going to show the people a way. Dame is going to show the folks a way, verbally, audibly, how to make sure your house makes for a good retirement. That's it. That's the topic. How your house, when leveraged right, makes a beautiful retirement. And when leveraged, how most people do it, will mess you up until post-retirement. All of that is next this week on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner.
Celebrate 529 with a chance to boost your little Hoosier's future. Enter the 529-day Big Future Sweepstakes from Indiana 529 for a chance to win $529 toward your child's education savings. 20 families will win this May. Enter at indiana529direct.com/529day by May 28th, 2026. No purchase necessary. Terms and conditions apply. Void where prohibited. Please read the disclosure booklet carefully before investing.
Yesterday was my daughter's last day of her junior year. She's officially a high school senior. Dame, it hurts my face.
Could have done without that because, well, today is the last day of my kid's school. So that means Lucy will be a junior in a few short hours.
Speaking of children, what grade is Maggie in?
Well, she's reading at a second grade level at this time.
Of course.
Okay, Jim Baby was in the gym this morning.
This poor baby.
First gave me some serious side eye when I was doing dips. And I don't know if it's a little boy or a little girl, but the head of hair is really getting some gains.
Nice.
Still a judgmental baby though, so I'm displeased. Kristen, it is Memorial Day weekend.
Indeed.
What are your traditions?
Well, for the past several years, it has been, what can I find to do because my person is farming?
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's got his own traditions that don't involve you.
It don't involve me.
Will he get his hands dirty and need a lava soap or a pumice stone to wash them?
I don't think so.
Really?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, he'll be gross, but
Okay, sure.
that's what they make that soap that comes in the orange container that stinks. That's what they make it for.
Yeah. Dame, traditions for Memorial Day?
For a number of years, we used to have a little family get together and do some fishing. But as families have grown up and moved away a little bit, that's not quite as regular as it used to happen. So not sure what's going on this weekend.
Someone got uninvited, Kristen.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh,
The invite. So my Sunday always starts with my dad calling my cell phone or whatever when I used to have a home phone around 8 a.m. And he sings the 500 song. And he sang this song to me on race day of the Indy 500, all 48 of my years. And he has background music. So he'll play the instrumental on YouTube and then sing over it. And it's real campy, like the 500. And he does it that way. And then like my wife, I almost said her name, is like super excited. My kids don't care, but they're insufferable. But it's an amazing tradition. And that's my weekend.
I wasn't even aware there was a 500 song.
Oh boy. I will send it to you. It's so great.
I'm excited. I want to hear this. By the way,
yes.
Jason Brown made a comment there towards the end about don't have to add to 100%. It's where credit comes in, Bucko. Has Jason Brown won the Listener of the Year award before?
That's an interesting question. Jason, I don't believe Jason has won the Listener. Do we know enough about Jason Brown?
Well, I'm just saying I don't think it'll be anytime soon.
Oh.
Well, he was using sarcasm.
Oh, well then.
Davian.
You're running.
Wow, I thought you were serious.
I thought he was too.
I was teasing.
So, Kristen, Dame was using sarcasm about Jason's sarcasm, and I got caught in the vortex and didn't know what was happening.
I was with you. I was confused.
Dame, do you wear a tank on Memorial Day? Like a tasteful muscle hamster shirt? No? What?
Yeah, as you both head to like the snake pit for the concert. Like, come on.
I've been in the gym this year. I feel like I might wear a tank to my sister's cookout.
Good for you.
Nice.
But the problem is
Sunscreen.
that is a big problem. Number two is
walking up and touching your arms.
Also not a problem. But I will say that it's not just family. It's like her friends. I don't really know them. And so then like Kristen, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being is like you can talk to anyone like an Irishman.
I'm not going to like this question.
1 is you're the worst person at small talk at get-togethers where you don't know anyone. What are you?
I can be a 10. I want to be like a 3.
How important is ranch water?
It's not.
Oh, Dame, what are you? I feel like you're better than what one might think. I think you're a 7.
I can play to just about any level. My comfort zone is much lower than that, but I get in there, and it usually just morphs into me asking questions of people, so I don't have to actually
love that,
talking. And people love it. So
I am at my best a 5, but I'm usually a 1.
That is not true.
Oh, Kristen, I know you. So like, I love talking to you. I'm excited to talk to you later today. I don't love small talk.
But I know that you don't, but aren't you capable? That's where I gave my score. Like, I can.
I think that muscle's gone. I've sort of like, I'm so much older than you that like the idea that I should be better at it is escaped me. I don't care anymore.
I don't know that that'll ever escape me. That's just me as a human. I care what people think.
In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show a few weeks ago, the assertion was made on the show by Dame and I'll take the brunt of it, but he's welcome to jump in, that people should absolutely have their home paid off before they retire, and it will make for a better retirement. This sent the internet ablaze because internet. So today we're talking more about it. What we are not saying to sell assets. We're not talking about a balance sheet move. We're not saying take your savings account or take your 401k and use it to pay off the remaining balance of your mortgage. We are not saying that a 2.5% interest rate on your mortgage, like I have, should be shed for lower assets or for assets that don't make sense to pay it off. What we are saying is that your income and your planning, the timeline of your mortgage term, are the two best tools you have to make this whole thing work. Kristen, there's even nuance within that. We are not necessarily saying make extra payments on your mortgage.
See, that's where my head goes too, because when we're talking about this, the two of you, I don't want to speak for you, so I want to ask, if we're talking about paying off your mortgage for retirement, your goal is like as close as possible or like as soon as reasonable? If you have to give that guidance, when is it?
I like it to be paid off within a year or two of retirement, either way. Right? It doesn't have to line up directly on the date. No, because frankly, the day you retire should be flexible too. You should be able to delay or whatever. I've said it 100 times. Flexibility is one of your biggest assets when it comes to retirement, whether that's the timing of it, whether that's the ability or the need to spend money, whatever it is, build flexibility into retirement for yourself. But don't get too tied up over this. So when you're thinking about maybe making a housing change, keep retirement in mind. Don't let that escape the thought process entirely, because it is a huge draw on your retirement assets as you go. And if you can eliminate that, mostly because you'll always have insurance and property taxes in most states, great. Reduce the stress on your retirement assets. Have that thing paid off.
There's one way to think about this that is going to send people into a tizzy. If your mortgage is $2,500 a month and you're going to have it throughout retirement, eliminating it is like needing $750,000 less in retirement assets, depending on withdrawal assumptions. Kristen's upset. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it quicker.
Okay.
If you get rid of $2,500 of monthly payments that you're going to have to make throughout retirement, and you have an asset-based retirement, which most people do, you can eliminate the need for $750,000 of assets by not having that $2,500 payment. Kristen knows math, usually not on Fridays, but here she is.
True. So true.
Kristen.
So I feel like I am playing the everyman here. I don't know how this just happened.
Ugh.
But Pete, what about my taxes and my insurance? Like, those are still such a huge part. Like, why does that even matter when I still have this large fixed monthly payment in perpetuity? All
right, Dame, let's say, Dame and I are going to talk about like you're not here. Okay, real quick.
Sure.
Dame, let's say that 30% of your income is going towards your mortgage payment, which includes property taxes and insurance. I think most people put their property taxes and insurance within their mortgage payment. That's my belief. Did you guys agree with that?
Yeah,
Yes.
I have to think so.
Okay. So let's say it's 30%. And then you eliminate your P&I payment, your principal and interest payment goes away because you've paid off your mortgage. And now all that remains is your property taxes and insurance. What is that? 10% of your income? Maybe 8. Oh, Kristen's got ground though, y'all.
No, we live where property taxes are reasonable, the three of us, but I want to make sure that we're checking our bias there. There are places, and I don't want to this is what's so hard about giving advice or talking in mass is like, then the individual can take liberties that maybe we wouldn't have given to them if we were talking to them as individuals. But there are places where that's not the case. There are states where property taxes are much, much higher than where we live.
Which, Dame, makes our point even stronger, right? So you should reduce some of your income. So my theory about this whole thing, and which is why we brought up the percentages in the first segment, is if I can eliminate the need for income, then I don't need as many assets. We are in a retirement crisis. People don't have enough money to retire. And so what they do is they ignore the number one lever, which is your need for money. Most Americans will be able to successfully retire because they don't need money, as opposed to they will have a lot of money. So that is why I, like Dame, want a person's mortgage paid off because they got the right term. They didn't get a 30-year mortgage when they're 52 years old, which makes no sense. Okay, I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say it aggressively. If you're in your 50s and you're buying a 30-year mortgage and you don't have the right number of assets for retirement, that is a terrible idea. Come at me, bro.
The internet will.
Kristen, how do you view that though? People in their 50s, they're getting in, they're like, we got a 30-year mortgage because it's what we can afford.
Right.
Great. You just put a lot of pressure on your assets.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think that there are cases where you could still find a way to make that work. And you build some equity and then you leverage that equity. I'm not saying that it can't work, but as a general theory principle, I agree with everything that the two of you are talking about. I just want to make sure that if we're dedicating an entire show to this topic, that we are addressing some of the nuance and pushback that we've received over the last 2 weeks.
All right. Well, speaking of no nuance, let's say I'm 30. And like to help with that in the live stream, this is what I might look like if I were 30. But let's say I were 30. I was a youth pastor. Let's say I'm 30. And my financial life and the economy around me has me feeling legitimately and appropriately like housing's super expensive and it's very difficult for me to get into the house, to get into a home, to be a homeowner. Okay. Or can we just pause for a second? Are you good with that basis of that? Like, A, I'm 30, 2, like it's hard. You guys are good?
Yes, yeah. It is hard.
Okay. So the average price of houses, just under $500,000 now, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's the high fours.
Yeah. Don't buy a $500,000 house. like, okay, well, we can't even get in the average home. Then you can't. Then you can't. Like that is the average car payment in America is $1,000. Then don't get one. Like that's where I get stuck on this. They're like, well, shouldn't we have the average house? No. No. And it's like, do I dislike you? No. I probably might not talk to you at a picnic, but then you shouldn't do it because it only hurts you. It doesn't hurt you to not do that. It hurts you to do that. And that's where the internet gets really in a tizzy. It's like, well, we should have it. You could, but it will actually hurt you. Kristen, I mean, come on.
Yeah, we do have to level set on our expectations. A first-time home and the average home should not be the same thing. And we shouldn't be talking about them that way.
Dave, the price of Rolexes are crazy now. Great, don't buy one.
Get a Timex.
That's why I don't buy one. I don't even have a watch. I'm just waiting to die. Got a little heated. Coming after the break, here's what we're doing. I am going to have the perfect plan for a 30-something to execute on. The perfect foolproof plan. If you mess it up, it is on you. All of that is next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. So Lily is in another room watching her first show. I wonder if she's left yet. Wonder if she's like, oh boy.
I'm out.
Oh.
TikTok is going to hate this episode.
Yeah. Okay. Probably.
We didn't make it better. I just want to be clear.
Okay, but like, I'm honestly, guys, Dame, I need your thoughts on this. Okay, let's say the average home price in America, and someone's going to argue that I'm wrong about this, and I don't care. Let's say it's 500,000. Let's say it's 200,000. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's say it's X. Then don't buy X.
Yes.
Right.
Why is that controversial?
What I think is really crazy is that within the last couple of years, and maybe my timing's a bit off on this, but there was this huge tiny house craze that was all over social media. And it's like, oh, these are amazing, and they're so affordable. And now all of a sudden, it's like, well, I can't afford housing, and it's not tiny houses that they're looking at when they're doing that. They're looking at the average house. So we're putting expectations on ourselves, and we've talked about this a bunch before too, that we expect to attain the lifestyle that we grew up in much faster than it took our parents or that whoever raised us to attain that same lifestyle. We just want to get it as soon as we graduate college or enter the workforce, and that is a recipe for disaster.
Kristen, you are young. Dame and I are
Ish.
No, but you in biological years, you're young.
Okay.
In thinking,
Nah, ancient.
okay. It is much harder for your age to deal with the rigors of homeownership based on the economy, how much BS you've been through culturally with COVID and the Great Recession. Right? It is hard.
Yeah, but I said that, and the internet also got mad at me. The older crowd got mad at me on like Facebook and Instagram. So
They'll be dead. Don't worry, they'll be dead soon. So it is hard, correct?
I 100% think that it's hard. I firmly believe that my generation has to run faster to achieve the same things that a previous generation did. That's just what it is.
There's no buts. That is the truth. They have to run harder. And so I'm going to stick with you because Dame and I are going to go old manish in a second.
Okay.
Kristen. So if that is true, and in order to get the average home, you have to hurt the rest of your financial life, then don't do it.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Like, this stinks. Yes.
Yes.
We're going to do it anyway.
I think that's my biggest hang up is those things. Like, why can't both things be true? There can be acknowledgement that this is harder, but that doesn't mean that you should do it anyway. I feel like that is the thing that's lost.
I just keep going through YOLO in my head, Dame.
Oh my.
I mean, it wasn't a thing until it was a thing, and it wasn't a thing, but then it's sort of in our fabric, right?
Yeah.
Of like, well, then that gets into the nihilism that we talked about a few months ago of like, well, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, there's just so many unfortunate decisions made around this topic, this particular section of your financial life and just your livelihood in general, that I think if you were able to fast forward and look at some of the compromises you were going to have to make in your lifestyle or what it was going to actually mean for you in the future, that people would really look at this differently through a different lens. And we obviously don't have that ability, but it is so significant of a factor in your short and long-term financial stability that it has to be weighed more seriously.
I'm offended that it offends people. Like I'm it's like there are things in my life that I want that may arguably are unfair or fair, and I just don't buy them because it doesn't make sense. Like and is that not the same, Kristen? I mean, you're gonna be the first to say I'm out of touch, but is that not the same? There's things I can't afford that I could buy them, but I can't afford them. But I could buy them.
Yeah, there are plenty of things that I want to buy.
You could buy things that you can't afford, and So, but if I bought things I can't afford, then my situation is not in any way better. It is worse.
Yeah. I agree with that. And for me, I think the point that resonates with people more than anything else, and I kind of said it once already, but it is that future you deserves this. Future you deserves for today's you to make prudent decisions, to make those sacrifices, to acknowledge what you can and can't objectively afford, because kicking that can down the road is harming your future self.
I love that we just did segment 2.5 and didn't put that on the radio for segment 3.
This is still on TikTok. This, I want someone to have a stable financial life. Whether they have the house of their dreams or not, I don't even care. Like, I say that as both a person and a personal finance expert of like, I can't tell someone what their goals should be, but I can tell them what their goals shouldn't be, which is to like, just say, I don't care. I want the house that I want. Like, I don't want to start saying that they will end up just being a burden to society, but that's what the math would say.
As a practitioner and an empath, I just want you to be financially well.
Gosh, that's what I should have said. In 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show today, just a calm topic, housing. How you can leverage your home to be a brilliant retirement asset. And we're not even talking reverse mortgages, which arguably is like the extension of this. Because truth be told, if you own your home outright and you've eliminated the cash flow challenges of having a mortgage, and then later your situation changes and you need to take assets back out of your house in the form of a reverse mortgage, it makes our point even clearer of why owning your home outright in retirement makes sense. But Dame, here's the challenge. People say, I'm not going to be able to buy a home until I'm 35 to 40 years old. And I'm willing to accept that. Can you accept that?
Yes.
Great. Kristen, do you want to be 35 or 40?
Neither.
Okay.
Good answer.
Kristen, you are 40.
Oh, great.
But don't look a day over 45.
Wow.
She's 40, Dame, and she's never purchased a home. Okay. There are 2 paths for 40-year-old Kristen who's never purchased a home. She could get a 30-year mortgage, or she could get, we'll say, a 15-year mortgage. Okay. This is a really interesting use case of this entire show. If she gets the 15-year mortgage, it forces her to buy less home because the mortgage payment will be higher.
Mm-hmm.
She will be out of mortgage debt no later than 55, which is plenty of time prior to retirement. I'm going to pause there. Not a terrible plan, but but is it forces her to buy less home.
Yeah, if we're focusing clearly or plainly on the housing part of it, yes, you're absolutely right. A number of other questions start to pop in my mind, as I'm sure they do Kristen about this point of trying to make the decision on whether a 15 or 30-year mortgage is most appropriate at this point. But are we going to start chasing those, or do you want to continue on the mortgage side?
Well, let's continue on the mortgage side for a beat here, because I would say the hardest element of this, and it's what you brought up, is, Kristen, if a person says, yeah, but I can't buy the home I want with the 15-year mortgage, great, let's go to path B. Kristen, it's the 30-year mortgage when you're 40, and if paid naturally at 360 equal payments, you're done at age 70. But I think there's ways to shave years off of that, which still solve our problem.
When are we going to talk about behavior, though? Because that last thing that you just said, where I entered homeownership at 40, I've never had this type of payment, I've never had this strain on my income. The reality of me making extra payments on that house to line it up with retirement, like we all agreed, couple years on either side, I don't think that's happening.
Okay, so this is super interesting. I had not considered this for this discussion point, but we must spend some time on it. Dame, what I'm hearing her say is, after 18 years of adult life, if not 22 years of adult life, a person takes on the largest obligation they will ever have, that not only has a monthly cash flow change for them in most cases, but also requires assets, higher level of assets to deal with emergencies, that those 22 years of financial socialization make my premise incredibly difficult. Do you buy that?
I understand the behavior side of things, and if we're talking about making extra payments, that could be a challenge. I don't think somebody will have. I mean, they've in theory paid rent for these number of years, so they're used to making that payment. But there could be a behavioral side to it as well, especially if we're talking about trying to get paid off close to retirement on that 30-year mortgage, where we know we're going to have to do a few things a little bit differently to make that happen.
I think, let's say that they can get by the behavior things that Kristen brings up, and they can shave a few years off. I'm not saying they're going to shave 10 years off, but they could shave 5 relatively easily. Kristen, that still solves the problem of having your home paid off by retirement. So there's all these people that are upset in their 20s and 30s about how none of this matters. Retirement has nothing to do with it. I want my home. You can have your cake and eat it too with planning.
Yeah, I'll concede to that if we can get past the behavioral challenges, this person is really committed to this plan and they want it to work. Yes.
Dame, where this falls apart very quickly is our insatiable ability and willingness and just insistence that we have multiple homes throughout our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Guilty. I'm guilty. You're not. Are you? Have you guys had multiple homes? Just the one?
Two.
Two.
We had an apartment for a year, then a house for a number of years, and then moved into where we're at now. And that's been it.
Kristen, this is your forever-ish home, right?
No.
Wait, you're putting all this work into that dumb yard and you're not going to live there?
There's no universe where this is a forever home, gentlemen. I'm not living on 6 acres for the rest of my life.
Ooh. I mean, you'd have to mow 20 of them. That's a thing.
Indeed.
Dame, so part of it is the impatience that we all show, every generation, to get into home ownership, and then the repercussions down the road of when that means you end up with your last mortgage and then wanting to refinance it to solve other problems in your life, like college or going into credit card debt. And then before you know it, you're not scheduled to have the thing fully paid off until you're 75 years old.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge because, as you said, there's always something out there. And now it's way worse than it ever used to be because stupid social media just always putting stuff in front of us. And we search one thing on Google, and all of a sudden that's all that fills our social media feed. Just just putting it back out there to make sure, reinforcing the desire that we might have to go and choose a new domicile.
All right, we got a couple minutes left in this segment. Does anyone want to get anything off their chest as it relates to the assertion of most Americans are in a much better spot if, with the proper mortgage term, the proper purchase price of the home, that the house is paid off to impact your cash flow positively prior to retirement? Am I crystal clear? What am I missing?
I still think the pushback that we'll see on this topic is, but Pete, I have a low mortgage payment. I'm never paying this thing off because I can invest and earn more.
Then do it, but you won't. Okay. Kristen, what you just said is actually the perfect advice. It is the perfect advice.
Perfect.
People don't do it.
They do not. They do not. And I wouldn't do it. Let me be perfectly clear. If my bank was not telling me that this payment was due, I would not every single month of the 30-year term put that exact same amount of money in a savings account, in a brokerage account, whatever. I would not do it. And I am, some might say, a financial expert. So if I'm not going to be able to do it, I can't expect other people to be willing to do that either.
Dame, this is where I think most things, good intention falls apart. This is where the FIRE movement falls apart, because it is a smart thing. Put a bunch of nuts in the tree and then you're good, right? That is smart. Eat the right balanced diet, get the right amount of exercise. Don't put French fries in your face hole. All things that we should and should not do. But Dame, like, it's got to be a sustainable plan.
Yeah, you missed one. Buy term and invest the rest.
I knew that was coming.
That was so good.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Never happened. Never happened.
No.
Boy, that is a different argument for a different day. I feel like no one talks about that one anymore.
No.
Way less frequent.
Do people buy life insurance anymore, the youngs?
No. No, they don't. They can't afford it. They can't afford it.
Okay. Next episode. Do young people still buy life insurance?
No.
Dave, maybe young people didn't buy life insurance when we were young, except that we were old when we were young.
That's true. That's very true.
We need to have like a life insurance person on here to say, do the youngs actually buy it?
Could be the shortest episode ever.
Coming back after the break, biggest waste of money of the week and the news right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. This thing clipped down. Boy, oh boy. I have every possible communication tool blowing up right now, and it is a massive distraction.
Silence them.
I should.
Put them on the table over on the other side of the room so you can't see them.
I put everything on Do Not Disturb so that I can be present and not read my email during the show.
I like the parlor trick of being able to do several things at once poorly.
There it is.
Mission accomplished.
Okay. Are you ready?
Is Lily still here?
Gosh,
Knocked
I hope
away.
so. She seems really nice. I hope she stuck it out. We'll find out. We got snacks.
True.
Good snacks too.
Drizzlicious.
Snacks.
Drizzlicious. I saw someone say this the other day. Drizzlicious is the greatest food with the worst name in snack history.
That is true. And also, whatever the sparkling waters are that are in the office currently,
Yeah.
those are also very good.
Ramble.
I couldn't remember.
They're called Ramble or Rumble or
Very good.
roadside emergency restroom. I don't know what they're called. In 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week right here on the Pete the Planner Show is the Unitree GD01 transforming mecha robot. The generation that grew up on Neon Genesis, Evangelion, and Pacific Rim now has a 6-figure chance to live out what they spent Saturday mornings watching. Unitree, the Hangzhou robotics company that already claims 60 to 70% of the global quadruped.
Time out.
Quadruped
Don't hurt yourself.
robot market unveiled the GD01 by having its founder climb inside and punch a brick wall down in one hit. Machine stands, like Dame, 9.8 feet tall, and like me, weighs 1,102 pounds with a pilot on board. It is built from a skeleton of titanium alloy and aerospace grade aluminum with a carbon fiber shell, blah, 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 blah. This looks like an AT-AT Walker from Star Wars, and it towers over a car. It is 4 bright red legs with a big pod on top. This is the thing of dreams and nightmares. Thank you, Meek Mill. Kristen, how much does this thing cost?
I genuinely thought that we were looking at one of those optical illusions where it's like a Matchbox car and they just like zoomed in really close. I didn't expect you to say that this thing is 9 foot tall. I have absolutely no idea, but that's the game per the usual. This is $100,000.
$100,000 to terrify your community, Dame.
It totally looks like a movie set behind them, right?
Correct.
A fake. Anyway, 100. There's no way. I mean, it's got to be like $500,000.
650,000. I was going to say American dollars, but it's only available in China. So $650,000 worth of yen, right?
Couldn't tell you.
All right, Dame. What is in the news this week.
Speaking of housing, Congress may finally be taking aim at one of the biggest frustrations in the housing market: giant investment firms buying up single-family homes. The House just passed a bipartisan housing affordability bill by a massive 396-13 vote. The original version would have forced large investors to eventually sell homes they built specifically as rentals, but that provision got stripped out after pushback from the construction and rental industries, of course. So now the bill will mostly focus on limiting how many single-family homes major investors can own while still allowing them to build more housing. And honestly, it's one of those weird issues where everybody's mad for completely different reasons. Some lawmakers say institutional investors are pricing young families out of the American dream. Others argue if you crack down too hard, you'll actually reduce housing supply and make affordability worse. One senator basically said, if build to rent dies, good, which is a pretty aggressive stance considering half the country currently can't afford the homes they're renting.
I hadn't really thought about it from that. It turns into a supply and demand situation real quick. 13 people. So based on that nuance, Kristen, those 13 people were opposed to it based on those situations that they feel like it restricts the housing supply.
Yes. I fear that this is one of those issues, though, that sounds like so good. And everybody's like, yeah, we shouldn't let insert big group here buy all the single family homes. But like, how often is that happening in practice? Because I read an article not long ago that the number is like way lower than we actually thought. So I suspect that this just looks better than it is. But I could be wrong.
Dame, your face was saying you thought the 13 were influenced by lobbyists.
I mean, yeah, but no, I was going to say maybe they were actually holding out and they weren't going to vote for it because they insisted. They were one of the people that insisted that the bill actually say that the companies would be forced to sell the homes instead of just reduce the number they could own.
Dame, what else is in the news?
Jeff Bezos, you know that guy, right? I think we all know, is now arguing that the bottom half of Americans shouldn't pay any federal income tax at all. The Amazon founder went on CNBC and basically said, why are we taxing a nurse making $75,000 in Queens? He pointed out that the bottom half of taxpayers only contribute about 3% of federal income tax revenue anyway, while the top 1% pay close to 40%. The debate here gets complicated pretty quickly because supporters of lower taxes on working Americans say many households are struggling with affordability, even if unemployment numbers and the stock market look strong. And critics point out that many lower income households already pay little or no federal income tax after credits and argue that the bigger question is how the government would replace that lost revenue. And this is where the conversation really gets interesting because it highlights the growing gap between how different Americans experience the economy. For high earners with rising investments and home values, things may feel pretty strong. For families dealing with higher grocery prices, insurance costs, rent, car repairs, the economy can feel very different day to day, which is why tax policy conversations have increasingly become less about spreadsheets, more about the version of the economy people feel like they're living in.
I saw that story the other day, and my first thing was like, oh, that is compelling. But then, Damien, I think it falls apart because of your hill you die on, which is just government spending in general is one of the major reasons this dies.
Yeah, take all of Bezos's money. We'll spend it.
Well, no, well, I mean, like,
it's gone.
What do you? I have my cynical self said that Mr. Bezos said this as a way of trying to get past his billionaire villain persona, which is picking up and saying, let's let the poors be okay. Like, but because there's no chance it ever happens. So is it just a way to build goodwill, Dame?
Yeah, I don't think that he suddenly discovered empathy in his 60s at this point. I think there was probably some ulterior motive to it. And, if I have to pay another % in taxes, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it blew up in his face on socials. So
you could wish someone a Merry Christmas on social media.
Truly.
And you've just done something heinous. And never mind. All right. So here's something I'm going to write about, I think next week, maybe or 2 weeks for my IBJ column. And I want to see how you think about it. I'm going to just take a steak. Okay. So just like as a placeholder for a good that costs something, but it is a variable cost.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking about price inelasticity, basically, of like, I will actually look at a steak and say, I'm not willing to pay that. We're not eating steak. And that there is that type of product for everyone. A lot of people, it actually is beef, except Kristen. Dane, what is that thing for you? Do you know? Like, is there something that you like to buy, but you literally at some point you're like, I'm not buying that?
That's a really good question. I don't have an answer for you, but I need to figure that out.
You don't have to. I'm just fun.
No, it's a great question. I'd like to be able to figure that out. So let's say, hey, I'm not buying that anymore.
Kristen, is there something that you like to buy, you regularly buy, but at some point you're like, I'm actually not buying it at that price?
I would say that I have shifted my general spending a lot to reflect things that I'm just like, I'm not willing to pay that premium for those things anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it could be airline tickets for some people, right? It could be
concert tickets.
And no one wants to go to a concert.
Okay.
Concert tickets, that actually is probably a really good example.
It is a great example. There's tons of canceled tours online right now.
And then the other side of that is, if you don't have one of those things, then like that's not a good idea from a consumer perspective. You know what I mean? Like you got to have limits.
Right. Just like the American government on their spending.
There you go. I thought you were going to say the house you can afford. I thought we were going there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it is Memorial Day weekend in Central Indiana, which means that this show is preempted. So for those that are going to listen on the radio at some other time, hello. For those that celebrate Memorial Day and for all that made the ultimate sacrifice for our country, we're thinking of you on this day. And of course, if you're listening on the podcast, we think of you every day. All right. So I'm sending good vibes because good vibes are all that's in the budget. This has been the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Now I get to train Lily on how to do all this stuff.
Sorry, Lily.
I don't know. I think she's going to do great.
I think she's going to be great.
Can you imagine for a second? Let me imagine working for this youth pastor. Why is this such a disturbing image?
Because you don't like it is the obvious.
Oh yeah, Rev. Gosh, Rev. Yeah. You're
great
the best.
tip.
Great call.
Please no fashion camo on Monday. Gosh. Rev, I was going to email you. I want to go to lunch. You haven't caught up in so long. We should go have some lunch. I don't know why I'm bringing that up on to everyone else, but all right, guys. We got 3-day weekend. Oh, Chris has got a good point. He says I look like Sean Hayes in this picture.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there I am with the hair. Okay. That's it. We're done. Stay getting money.